Welcome to Tivo Shalom Shir. This coming Shabbos, we have another one of the four parshot that we've been reading. Uh, this is Shabbos HaChodesh, and we read after the regular reading of Parsha Vayakhel. We read this very special portion that is told to us in Parshas Bo, and I'll just read the two sentences that introduce what we're talking about. V'yomer Hashem al Moshe v'al Aaron, God said to Moshe and Aaron, Be'eretz Mitzrayim lemor, in Egypt, in the land of Egypt, saying, HaChodesh hazeh lachem, this month shall be to you, Rosh Chodashim, the beginning of the months. Rishon hu lachem l'chodshei Hashanah, shall be the first of the months of the year. Now, the Tibbut Shalom is going to discuss why this is so important and why, if you remember back Bereshis, the very first sentence of Bereshis, where it starts, Bereshis bara Elokim es Hashemayim v'Hashoros, God created heaven and earth, Rashi says, why didn't it start instead with the mitzvah, with the first mitzvah? And what is the first mitzvah that it refers to? HaChodesh hazeh lachem Rosh Chodashim, this particular mitzvah of HaChodesh. So what's so important about that? We're going to talk about this. We're going to show how this particular mitzvah tells us that every Jew has the ability of renewal from every situation to get better, to bring light into any darkness. Now, it's a long piece, so I've highlighted stuff I'm going to be talking about. And feel free on your own to go through the rest of it, but it would take too long to go through everything. So I'm going to start right now. HaChodesh hazeh lachem Rosh Chodashim, Rishon lachem l'chodshei Hashanah. That's what I just read. This month shall be to you beginning of the months, the first month of the year, of the months of the year. Yesh levar inyan kriyas parshas chodesh. The first question he asks is a normal question. Why do we read the Parsha Chodesh? Adash shebi'arna b'makomim inyanim shall call parshas be'arba parshos, she parshas shleimus shel avodah. We look at all the other parshas, you're going to explain what that means. They're complete. They have to do with certain things that you had that you did that we were commanded to. He gives an example. Kriyas parshas shkalim, when we had parshas shkalim in Yonah Truma B'nei Beishis Karbanos. Shokal Shana Shaychis Afil Bazman Hazeh. Shkalim talked about the donations, the truma that was given to buy these sacrifices for that time, and it's appropriate even for this time, because as it says, Kedibra Midrash and Chumash, it says in the Midrash, Bechal Shana V'Shana Shekor and Parshas Kalim, Kil Moshe Rabbeinu Omed Sham Osir Sham V'Zokev Es Rishon. When we read Parshas Kalim, it's as if Moses himself, Moshe Rabbeinu himself, was standing over us and raising up our heads, and that's Parshas Kalim. The Chaim Kriyas Parshas Zohar. We read Parshas Zohar before him. Who mitzvah nischis. It's an eternal commandment. Limchos as shoresh harash hamalek, to wipe out the evil root of Amalek. And then Parshas Porah, the parsha of Porah Aduma, the red heifer, which was used to purify from defilement with a dead person. In Yanu Latar Yehudi, it was to make a Jew pure, make him tar. This manazeshein afar Porah bepoel, I decree as parshas Porah b'Torah ma'ala akasim ki'ilu kemet. Even though we don't have a parsha Porah now, we don't have a Porah Aduma. We don't have this procedure because it only happened during the existence of the Beis Hamikdash. Nonetheless, by reading it, it's as if we are fulfilling this mitzvah right now. Ukalashon Haryami, the Rishami says, Makdimim Parshas Porah The Parshas Porah came before uh, Parsha HaChodesh. HaChodesh, as I just indicated, came from Parsha Bo and Shemot. Parshas Porah came much later. He says the reason that this comes in this manner, or Parshas Porah was first, is to purify Kol Bnei Yisrael, all of Israel. Badas zeh, yesh lanu yanu shel kriyas Parshas HaChodesh, mashmos b'marechet avodas Hashem. So we have to see, so we see that the reading of HaChodesh is different than anything else. And then skipping down, it says, Beresh Parshas Bereshis, at the beginning of Bereshis. Kosev Rashi writes, Shachodesh Hazeh Lechem Rosh Chadashim, He mitzvah Rishonah Shenistavu B'nai Yisrael. He writes, this was the first commandment that was commanded to the children of Israel. Uva Roi Hoy Lahatchil Torah. And this was fitting. According to Rashi, this would have been a fitting sentence to begin the Torah with. So there must be great intentions with this. Shedavka mitzvah kiddush hachodesh nivchara b'kol tareg mitzvos. This mitzvah of kiddush hachodesh, of sanctifying the month, was chosen from all the 613 commandments. This mitzvah of kiddush hachodesh, sanctifying the month. Leos mitzvah rishona shnisavu Yisrael b'tzorach b'inyan. We have to understand what this was all about. And then Tivot Shalom goes on, and he says, Rishon hu lachem l'chad sheishar. This month, the month of Nissan, which is coming up next week, Rosh Chodesh Nissan, is the first of the months of the year. Chodesh Nissan, Mesugal, B'yoter is Chadshot, Yoter because Zmani Hitchadashot Shebashana. The month of Nissan is more fitting to do renewal of yourself and of what's going on, your situation, more than any other time in the year. Bo Yehudi Mesugal Lizkadesh Afil Binyanim Hakashim Biyoter. In this month of Nisan, a Jew is able to renew himself even from those difficult things that he's not successful in overcoming the rest of the year. This aspect of renewing means to get yourself out of the darkness and into the light. This is something unique to the children of Israel. No matter what's happening, a person can renew himself and be like a totally different person. As the sages say, this month shall be to you, lachem v'lo lagoyim, to you, Jews, and not to the nations of the world. Shagoyim monim lachama, the nations of the world count themselves from the sun. Israel, monim lavana, the Jews are compared to the moon. The hachama ein shum chidushos v'shinuim. The sun doesn't have any newness. The sun rises and sets. It's the same. The sun looks the same, depending on where you are looking at it. It doesn't change. Tamid hu b'matzav kavua. It's always in the same shape, and it doesn't change forever. But the moon is always in a constant pattern of changing. It comes a time when the moon gets so small. It almost comes to the point of nothingness. You can't even see it anymore. The aspect of total, you can feel the darkness. Bachar Kach, but after that, Shuv Choser Mizchadesh or Halvana. After that, the light of the moon renews itself, getting stronger and stronger every day. He says, "Vafilu b'zmanim shosiach cheshechos shehudi magia l'matzav shel efes v'yomush choshech." Even those times when a Jew reaches the depths of darkness, where he feels that he's ready to give up hope. He just feels the darkness all around him. Gam oz yesh lo hakoach shel Yisrael moni l'avonos. So even there, in those difficult times, you have the power of the moon. Shildea, because you know, the person knows, the Jew knows, ki omnam eis choshech. Even though at the time it's dark, avol tekef, you'll feel a shuva, or right away, that darkness will turn to light. Avol umos ha'olam, moni l'chama, but the rest of the world, the nations of the world, count by the sun, are compared to the sun. She'elam es hakodesh hakadoshos. They don't have this power of renewal. Uvishas choshech, nofli mehem b'yush. In the time of darkness, they fall into despair. They give up. Valdas geroy shezorim ba'aretz. And we've mentioned this concept before. It's like when you plant a seed in the ground. Sheinu matchil itzmoach. It only when does the seed start to grow? It doesn't start to grow ela achrei shemartiv until it starts rotting away. Vadayan yeshbo kustachayus, and all that's left is this little spark of life. Oz urega ba'atzmicha. That's the beginning of growth. When you're almost completely destroyed, that's when the growth begins. Avam nirkav kulo, but if it's completely destroyed, shuv eni ochel yitzmoach, then it can no longer grow. V'zehu V'zeu ha-perish, ha-hefresh, zeu ha-hefresh bein Yehudi la'akum. This is the difference between a Jew and a non-Jew. Yehudi b'sish feiloso yesh bo chelek elkim imal. The Jew in the time of darkness, of utter darkness, has within him a part of God from above. V'nitzos hakadosh hazeh, and this holy spark, einu mistal humanu, will never leave the Jew. Through this spark of life, the Jew returns and renews himself, herself, like a new creation. Contrary to the nations of the world, they don't have this holy spark. They're, because of their despair, everything wastes away and they cannot any longer renew. And this is why Rashi wrote, as we mentioned, the Torah should have begun with this mitzvah. Mitzvah Rishona, because this in fact was the first mitzvah, the first commandment that Bnei Yisrael were commanded. The other commandments in the Torah were the mitzvah Bnei Noach, but the first commandment to the Jews was this mitzvah v'chodesh hazeh lochem, was the first mitzvah. Mashmos mitzvah rishonahi sheyesh bo mala v'chashivus miuchedes. So since it's the first mitzvah, it must have specific value and specific worth, unique worth. Umishum kach nivchar liot rishona, we call Targum mitzvahs. Therefore, because of this, the uniqueness of it, it was determined to be the first of the commandments of all the 613 commandments. Within this mitzvah of this month shall be for you, is hidden the aspect of the ability of the Jew to renew, just like the moon renews every month. Shiva matzav shel his chadashot mitmadot b'chol eis v'chol shah. The Jew has the opportunity to renew himself, to bring light into any situation at any time. B'chol mini hamatzavim sheyehudi nimtza, even the most difficult things that a Jew finds himself in, afilu kishikula choshech, it looks like everything is dark around him. Nonetheless, bekocho, with this power of renewal, laxor l'chadesh k'briya chadasha, the Jew can renew himself like a brand new creature. He's not the same person that was having all these troubles, and he sees only the light. Now he goes on to talk about, he says, B'chol chag, yesh mashmos b'yuchedes shel chadash. Every chag that we have, every festival we have, Pesach, Shavuos, Sukkos, there's a unique aspect of renewal when we renew ourselves on those chagim. But he says, "V'chodesh hazeh Rosh Chodashim." This month is the headquarters of all the months. Who Rosh? This is the head. Rishon, the beginning. The Chol Zamani is Chadshu Shal Shana, of all times of renewal during the year. The Gadol Mikulam, and it's greater. This month of Nissan is greater than all of them. Kushamar Chazal, as our sages have said, the Nissan Nigalu, we Jewish people were redeemed in the month of Nissan. Nissan Atidin Ligala, and the Nissan in the future, we will be redeemed. Shachodesh Hazeh Asher Bo Nigalu Uva Atidin Lahagoel Bisugal is Chadashos Bria Chadasha. This month of Nissan gives that ability to renew. Madrega Hagadola Biyota because money is Chadashos, and a greater level than any other time of renewal. We call a Chagim Vazmanim Shemeshach Hazam more than any other festival during the year. K'mo Torah Madgishim Shadibur Bezeh Beretz Mitzrayim. I noticed when I read the first pasuk, the beginning of it says God spoke to Moshe in the land of Egypt, and now he asks, "Should be Yosef Beretz Mitzrayim?" He wants to know why. This is the only place where God is commanding Moshe to do things. It doesn't say he commanded him at this place. Why in this place does it say he commanded him in the land of Egypt? So he says, should be Yosef Eretz Mitzrayim. They were still in Egypt. B'siyach hashechos, in the midst of darkness. Shekuyim Mitzrayim ervas oretz makom atuma. They were swallowed up, enmeshed in the land of Egypt, in a place of total defilement. Sham Nemar Lahem Mitzvahs Chadosh. That in that darkest place, that's where this commandment of renewal was given to them. That's what it says. This will be the beginning of your months. That the treasure of renewal, like to become a new person, a new creature, new creation. Nothing like it during every other month of the year. It says, L'chol Yehudi v'Yehudi, to every Jew, Niten Koach Hitchadashot, Higoyal Soso Nafsho. Every Jew is given the power from above, a divine power, to redeem himself personally from any troubles that he's in, spiritually or physically. And he goes on to say, V'chayav adam lerosis atzmo. We're coming up to the Seder pretty soon. Another 2.5 weeks could be Pesach. At the Seder, we say, Chayav adam la'atzmo, ki'ilu hu yotzim Mitzrayim. We each have to view ourselves as if we just came out of Egypt. Shehu hazikron harishon. This is the first of the remembrances. Me'azichrono shetzivsa Torah al Yehudi lezecher. That the Torah commands every Jew to remember. That's the first of the remembrances, to remember that Hashem brought you out of Mitzrayim. She is, of course, koach sheyitziv Mitzrayim, to remember the power of the exodus from Egypt. It was necessary to renew yourself like a new creation, a new person, and to be redeemed from all the difficulties and all the slavery. This was the first commandment that God made to the children of Israel. That a Jew will be able to be strong and to renew himself no matter what situation he or she is in. Nissan Nigalu, because in Nissan, month of Nissan, the Jewish people were redeemed, and we will be redeemed again in the month of Nissan. So this is the why we read this section of HaChodesh Hazeh. Rishon hu lechem l'chodesh Yeshua, the first of all the months of the year. Shema Chodesh Hazeh yesh lechem yanika l'cha yud beis chodshei Hashanah. From this month of Nissan, we can gather the strength, like, to get us through every one of the 12 months of the year. We can also say about this, Chodesh Nissan hu Chodesh Ahava. Month of Nissan, when we're redeemed from Egypt, is the month of love. HaChodesh asher bo Yeshuas mekifos. A month in which we are surrounded with salvations. Shebechodesh hazeh, in this month of Nissan, nivchor liYisrael lios am hanivchor. The Jewish people were chosen to be the chosen people by God. V'hu b'chinas dodi li v'ani lo, and it was a joint thing. You are my beloved. My beloved is yours. V'meshach Hashana, throughout the whole year, yesh chadashim me'irim, yesh chadashim she'enu me'irim. There are months that are really bright. The sun is shining. Things are really good. Things really look good. And there are times when they don't look so bright. Interesting, we have a general principle that when we talk, we should try to talk in Lashon Naki, to not say bad things, but to say something like that makes it sound like a good thing. So instead of saying it was months that are dark, he says months that aren't as light. Instead of saying something is treif, it's not kosher. And that's a separate message we have to speak in every aspect. Chodesh Hazeh, this month of Nissan, Chodesh HaAhava, this is the month of love. Rishonu Lachem L'Chodshei Hashanah, the first of the months of the year. Shemashpia b'Yehudi Ha'arat Elakut B'chol Yud Beis Hashanah, Yud Beis Chodesh B'Shana. Spreading upon the Jew is the light of God through every one of the 12 months of the year. This is the aspect of reading Parsha Chodesh this week. She Yisrael monim l'lavana hu nitzchis. Jews are compared to the moon, which is forever. Chodesh Hashem mashpia ha'ara l'chol hashana, and this month of Nissan will bring light for the whole year. The Yud Beis Chodshei Hashana, to the 12 months of the year. And may we take advantage of this light, take advantage of the opportunity to renew ourselves, to bring light not only into our lives, to take whatever darkness we feel around us and turn it into light, not only for us, but as our job as Jews is liot or lagoyim, to be a light to the nations. May we spread this light to the rest of the world. Let the rest of the world become illuminated by the light of Hashem. Thank you for listening. I'm going to turn off the recording right now. And Baruch Hashem, we didn't get interrupted with a siren.
Hashem.